Hey guys, what is up? My name is Harsh Shah. I'm from the top percentile. I scored a 99.9 in percentile in CET 2020 and secured an all-India rank 4. Well, in today's video session, I'm going to be discussing about time management strategies and what sort of sectional times you need to allot for each section. So basically, the takeaway from this video is going to be a good starting point for you to allot different timings for all the sections, and then you can build upon it based on your personal strengths and weaknesses. So without further ado, let me present my screen and we can start off with the discussion on time management. So yeah, I hope you can see the screen. The topic for discussion is time management during mocks and exams. So first of all, I want to begin by stating, do you remember Shah Rukh Khan from the movie Chak De India? Shah Rukh Khan says 70 मिनट, ये 70 मिनट तुम्हारी जिंदगी के सबसे खास 70 मिनट है. Well, we are fortunate enough that CET is going to give us 150 minutes and not 70 minutes. So you have a lot more time than what our Indian women in the movie Chak De India had. So there's a lot more things that you can achieve in that much amount of time. So how do you utilize this precious 150 minutes to the fullest? Well, you need a time management strategy and a time management plan for that. And that is why I say that time management is extremely important to crack CET, probably the most important thing. Well, you need to keep an upper limit for each section. Let's say LR, QA, DI, VARC, abstract reasoning. For each of these sections, you need to have an upper limit beyond which you're not going to solve that, right? You cannot at all overshoot your time. If you have allotted, let's say 10 minutes for abstract reasoning, and that is what you have allotted yourself after going through various iterations in different mocks, and you're fixated on 10 minutes as a time limit for abstract, make sure you don't overshoot it. Try to finish your section inside of that much time, or otherwise skip to some other section and come back later if you have time for that particular section. So don't overshoot at all. Well, time management definitely requires practice and a lot of awareness while you're giving your mock or while you're giving your final exam. A lot of times you will just be lost in the question, you'll just be lost in the complexities and the enjoyment of solving a particular question. Make sure that you're aware about how much time you're spending per section, how much time you're spending per question also, because at the end, all those questions on which you're spending a lot of time is going to make you overshoot your time limit. So just be aware of how much time is left on the clock. And finally, lay down your time structure and follow it religiously. I cannot emphasize on the fact that how much important time management, laying down your structure and following it is. So with these steps clear out of the way, I'll move on to my time structure and what sort of time I used to allot during my mocks, and then what sort of buffers I used to keep during the actual paper. So my idea was simple. For abstract, there are 25 questions. I'm going to give 20 minutes and I'm going to solve all those 25 questions in these 20 minutes. Now the buffer over here is in fact a negative buffer. Basically, I'm saying that I'm going to keep a max at 20 minutes, but I'm going to try and solve all these 25 questions inside of 18 minutes. That is my target. Inside of 18 minutes is my target. But if I want to solve a bit more, if I'm thinking that, okay, it's simple, I can do it, I'll give 2 more minutes, 20 minutes is the tops. And then the next section would be QADI. QADI, I used to give around 40 minutes of time for those 50 questions. It was my strongest section, so I was comfortable giving or spending more time on it. But again, over here, my idea was that I will at max give 40 minutes to QADI because I know that in some other sections, some easier questions are waiting for me. So I'm not going to spend more than 40 minutes. And I'll try to finish off QADI inside of 38 minutes. Well, at the end, if there is some more time left, I can come back to QADI again. But when I'm solving it for the first time, 40 minutes is what I would give straight up at max. Then the next part is VARC. VARC, comparatively, you don't have to solve anything. It's just about reading and then picking one option. I think it's manageable to solve around 40-45 questions, at least attempt 40-45 questions inside of 30 minutes, because there are a lot of sitters like synonyms, antonyms, grammar questions, etc. So 30 minutes tops is what I would give. Not tops actually. 30 minutes is what I would ideally spend. But if I have some more time left, if I have saved some time from abstract, if I've saved some time from QADI, then maybe if I think that VRC is a simpler section for that particular mock or for that particular test, I would spend maybe plus or 5 minus plus or minus 5 minutes for this particular section. And finally, LR. For LR, I would spend around 60 minutes. I know usually that the sets that come could be a bit lengthier, could be a bit difficult. So my aim would be to crunch all the other things earlier and then go towards the sets. That way I can solve more number of questions and try to fix everything in 60 minutes. Again, over here, if I'm able to solve QADI abstract a bit quicker, then plus or minus 5 minutes in LR also would work. So this is my strategy to split my 150 minutes into different sections. I think you can start from here, then find out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Give your strengths some more time. If you can marginally increase your score and give your weakness a bit less time. Let's say VARC is your weakness, and even if you spend 25 minutes, you're going to score 30 marks, and even if you spend 30 minutes, you're going to score 30 marks. Then it makes sense to spend only 25 minutes, get those 30 marks, and use those 5 minutes in some other section, abstract, QAD, or LR. So that is what the strategy should be. Make sure that you are keeping a top or a max limit for each of these sections and are not overshooting it in the first attempt. In the first attempt, what I mean is that while you're solving abstract for the first time in that paper, don't spend more than 20 minutes. If you're solving QA for the first time in the paper, don't spend more than 40 minutes. You can come back to it at the end if there is some more time left, but make sure that you see through the entire question paper in those 140 150 minutes that you have. Well, after this, I would like to go to a time management trick. So this is what I used to do so that I'm completely aware about where I stand and how much time is left. So remember the clock backwards, right? So what I mean by this is, if the clock starts from 150, if the clock starts from 150 going towards zero, then what you need to do is you need to remember that for abstract, if this is my order, abstract, QADI, VRC, and then LR, if that's my order, and I've written 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes for each of these sections, then I'll remember 150 minus 20. Then I'll remember 130 over here. So 130, if the clock hits 130, I'm going to skip abstract for that moment. I'll come back to it later if there is time, but I'll switch to the next section, which is QADI. Again, for now, QADI, I have 40 minutes. So 130 minus 40 will be 90 minutes. As soon as the timer reaches 90, I'm going to stop QADI. I'm going to move to some other section. If I finish earlier than 90, then that's great. That is amazing. It means that you're solving faster than what you had expected. So that's fantastic. Next is VRC. I'll subtract 90 minus 30, which is 60. As soon as timer reaches 60, I'll stop VRC. I'll move towards LR. And then finally, I'll try to finish LR in 55 minutes. So I still have 5 more minutes left. If there is something I feel can solve in those 5 minutes, maybe an abstract, QA, or VRC, or if I'm left to mark some bluffs, I'll do that in those 5 minutes. So that is what my plan would be. I'll try and remember these numbers: 130, 90, 60, and 0. This is what I'll try and remember. But this is in case the clock starts at 150 minutes. But what if the clock starts at 2 hours and 30 minutes? It could depend. If it can start at 150 also, it could start at 2.5 hours also. If that's the case, I'll remember these numbers also. So again, the same logic applies. I'll remember these numbers as soon as the timer hits that number. I'll skip that section, I'll move on to the next section, and I'll start solving the other part. The idea behind this is very simple. You have to look at each and every question in that 150 minutes, and you have to solve only the simplest one first, and then the medium, and then the difficult ones. That's the simple logic which ties all these strategies together. And like finally, I would say that adapt as per your convenience. So this is my strategy. Not necessarily it's going to work for you, but I think this is a fair point to start off with. So whatever you feel like, if you are much stronger in QADI and you think you can score 50 on 50, maybe spend 45 minutes over here and get those 45 or 50 marks. If you think VA is your stronger part, spend 40 minutes in VA, get 50 marks out of it, and spend 30 minutes in QA and get whatever 1:1 sort of marks out of it. So adapt this strategy as per your convenience, as per your strengths and weaknesses, and make changes based on the difficulty of each section. So this is again a very important point. I might contradict a bit myself over here, but if you think in a particular mock, I've written QA, I'll give maximum 40 minutes. If I think that QA is going to be very difficult and I've seen through the questions it's going to be excruciatingly difficult, then I might cut my time in QA. I might give only 25 minutes to QA And then extra 15 minutes, I would split up in VARC, LR, and abstract. So that would take my VRC total to 35 minutes, maybe LR total to 65 minutes, and abstract total to 22 minutes or whatever. So that's the idea. If you think a particular section is extremely difficult in your mock or in your final exam, then cut down a bit of time on that. Make those impromptu decisions, because finally, CET is definitely a decision making game. And well, with that, those were my 2 cents on the topic time management during mock and during your exams. So, yeah, keep hustling, and I'll see you in some other video. Take care. Bye.